Hello, welcome to 2 Minutes on Text. We're going to be working with text in Photoshop today. I have added a text layer and I put some text in there. And what I'm going to be going through today is I'm going to be going through the character panel and the properties panel. Now, the properties panel is fairly new to Photoshop within the last few years. The properties panel is like a quick access place to kind of edit some different components of your piece. For example, in the properties panel, I can change the size of my text. I can kind of scroll it bigger, larger, and smaller. You can come in here and choose a number. You can also just grab your move tool and kind of stretch the text. Different sizes if you wanted to resize the text there. Remember that when you do that and you create a transformation, double click to apply the transformation. Other things that you can mess around in the properties panel, you can play around with the leading and the kerning. This is the leading, and here's me changing the space between the lines and kind of making that a little bit tighter. You can play around with the kerning. The kerning is the space between the letters, so you can spread the letters out there. Whoop, that's a lot. That's spreading it out quite a bit, right? Make sure that when you're experimenting with text sizes, you don't make it difficult to read. You can do some interesting things with it to kind of help your design, but you don't want to make it more difficult to read. This is kind of stretching out the individual letters, right? Kind of fattening it up a little bit. Just be careful too that once you start messing around with the different text styles, you do have to go back in the next time you use that font or the next time you're experimenting and put that back where it was, because it will show up. Those edits to that particular font will show up each time you go to use the piece there. Now, there's other things that you can experiment with in the properties panel, but if you want to get even more advanced, you can go into the character panel. Remember that if you're missing any panel, you can go to the window menu, and any panel that I'm discussing or talking about is going to be listed in that window panel there. So again, you have the size of the text, you have the size between the lines, spreading the letters out. But what's really neat about this is I can make a faux bold, right? If a font doesn't have a bold, that will allow me to do that. I can do a fake italics. I can make it all caps. I can do like larger caps and smaller caps. I can create headings and different, I can underline. There's all kinds of different options in here to experiment with, right? When you're kind of playing around with the different types of text. So make sure that when you are putting text in a piece, don't just make a text box and throw it in there. Definitely experiment with different options. Maybe there's different thicknesses you can play with. If you want to go even more, you can find your paragraph panel. That'll give your left and right alignment, your center alignment, your indentations, all those kinds of things. Further, if you wanted to, you could separate the text, right? I'm going to do Command X and kind of break out this line of text. Let me create a new layer here, a new text layer. Let me click in the document here. Let's do this. I'm going to do a new text layer, click, and Command V paste. And then this gives me even, more added flexibility where I want the text to go or how I'm going to match it up. I have some guides that are enacted. That's why those things are kind of popping up. But you can experiment with moving the text around in that way as well. I always, let me do this and do this. I always encourage people to not make a text box. The problem with the text box is that if my text doesn't fit, I've already typed out the word lemon, I have to go in and I have to adjust this. I'm adjusting the size of the text box, right? Which is fine if you want text in a specific place, but if you want full freedom and capabilities, just click and type. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to watch more neat videos on how to do fun and quick stuff in Photoshop.